Hello, everyone, and welcome to 100 Yards Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your host, Logan Landers, and joining me today on this SEC Game of the Week preview is my man, Mr. Football, Vincent Turner. Welcome to the show, Vincent.
How you doing today, sir?
Hey, I can't complain, man. It's a beautiful Monday. Had some great games going on this weekend, and we're going to be talking about a very special one coming up right now. But we're going to do things a little bit different today, Vince. I'm going to kick it to you first. I want you to give your side of the tale on how do you think Auburn is going to do on this upcoming game against the Georgia Bulldogs.
Well, first of all, kudos to the SEC kicking off last week. It was a fantastic season. Football is back in the South now. As the great John Ward used to say, the announcer for the University of Tennessee, it's football time in the region of in the region of the South. I'm going to talk about the War Eagles, the Auburn Tigers. Last week played a very tough game against a very good Kentucky team last week. And when you look at Auburn, there was two things that I looked at, the line of scrimmage, both on the offensive and defensive side. They started 4 new starters on the offensive line, and they started 3 new starters on the defensive line. Let's start with the offense. We know Bo Nix coming into this year was going to be a better player. Started all games as a true freshman. He didn't disappoint last week, 16 to 27, 3 touchdowns, 233 yards. But the key stat, no turnovers. Now, this is a key where I think Auburn has to make a really good growth if they're going to beat Georgia on Saturday. They got to be able to run the ball. Last week, they only had 91 yards on the ground, average 3 yards per rush last week. That's not going to happen in Athens, Georgia on Saturday night. So that being said, the offensive line has got to play a lot better as far as rushing the football. Defensively, I knew that replacing 2 guys that's in the NFL right now, and Derrick Brown, who's right now playing with the Carolina Panthers, and Marlon Davis, who's playing with the Atlanta Falcons, I knew that Auburn had a long way to go. But against Kentucky on Saturday, I thought their D-line played real well. Cat Bryant played very excellent. Cody Wooden played excellent. They held Kentucky to 145 yards rushing. They held Kentucky to 3.6 yards of rush. Plain and simple. They're going to have to bring the same A-game to line of scrimmage to stop Georgia's vaunted running game. And most of all, Auburn created 3 turnovers last week. And the thing about the Auburn Tigers that really I was taking a look in the game last week, they started 13 new starters. But it didn't look like Auburn took too much of a step down. So it's very easy on me Saturday. For the War Eagles to win the game against the University of Georgia, they're going to have to be able to run the football. But they got some explosives on the outside. Seth Williams proved last week, 6 receptions, 112 yards. He's putting himself up there as one of the top receivers in the country. Eli Stove is a very good, excellent slot receiver. And Anthony Schwartz, the fastest man in college football. You got to think that Bo Nix and that Auburn offense under offensive coordinator Chad Morris is looking to get him the ball. So on Saturday, for War Eagle to beat Georgia, my keys to the game, being able to get a more than 91 yards rushing, and number 2, their D-line and Auburn's defense stopping that vaunted Georgia rushing game. Because now Georgia's made a key acquisition. We all know that the Dogs are struggling at the quarterback position, but I'm going to let you explain that. My thing is, War Eagle, run the ball on Saturday and you win the football game and control the time of possession. Last week in the game against Kentucky, Kentucky controlled the time of possession. Kentucky had the ball 36 minutes. Auburn had the ball only 23 minutes. For Auburn, as I said, running the football, but you got to bring the time of possession up to be competitive in the game on Saturday.
Yeah, hey, you make some great points there, man. That Auburn offense looks really, really good. And like I said, if they start pounding that ball, we'll have to see about Georgia. But let's get on my side of things. Let's talk about the UGA Bulldogs in our backyards, man, in Georgia. Let's talk about their game against Arkansas. Look, that first half, I don't know what kind of team that was that came out. I didn't know if it was a JUCO team. I don't know what kind of team that they showed out to that first half, but it did not look good against the Razorbacks, man. They were down 7-5 going into halftime, which if you think about that, is just an incredible score, and you would never think that, the Razorbacks would get even a lead in that game, let alone lead at halftime. But I don't know what was said, going into the locker room, but coming out in the second half, they looked a lot better. They still didn't look 100%. But look, let's get into the quarterback battle. Like you were saying, a lot of people thought that JT Daniels was going to be the man this year. Jamie Newman came over and he decided not to play this year, under his own power. But hey, JT Daniels, they thought he was going to be the guy, but he's just not ready yet. He's not healed from his injuries. He's still got to take a little bit more time. They don't know exactly when he's going to come into the games. But so for them, they kind of had to scramble. So they threw out Dewan Mathis, who I know we had a pretty good thought that he would be pretty decent this going into the game, but he did. There we go. Yeah, so yeah, with Dewan, I don't know if he was just nervous going into this game or what was going on, but he did not do that good, man. He was 8 of 17, 55 yards only, and he threw a pick. And I know you told me before we came on the show, man, once we got into the halftime, that it looked like it was completely different, man. They had to change things up, and they did. They threw in, Stetson Bennett out there, and I'm not gonna lie, that first couple of drives that he had, it didn't look too solid, but once he got his feet wet, it really looked pretty good. Now, I know he's not going to be the quarterback of the future, for the Bulldogs, but he did really good, man. 20 of 29, 211 yards and 2 touchdowns. And, I mean, you can't really ask for any more out of the young man coming off the bench like that, not even starting the game, coming out cold, and really doing a pretty good job for the Bulldogs. But I think for me with the Bulldogs, man, they got to be able to run the ball a little bit better. Like you said, the running games for both teams really need to kind of step it up this battle against each other. Zamir White got 13 carries for 71 yards. He did get a 20-yard rush, though, and he also got a touchdown on the game. But they really got to pick that up because, as we know, man, Georgia's got over the past couple of years, they've had really good running backs, and they've had really good production. I know it's the first game of the year, and people are still trying to get, 100%, and they didn't really have as much time to prepare and whatnot. And look, I'm not going to credit their bad first half off of that, but I know that they're better than what they played against Arkansas. I think the whole SEC knows that Georgia really is a force. And I think that Georgia didn't really play to their full potential against Arkansas because me and you talked about this game the other week. We said that Arkansas had to play a perfect game to get the win. And in that first half, they didn't play perfect, but they played better. Now, I will say that I feel like once Georgia got that safety on them in, I believe, the second quarter, I thought that was a turning point. Now, Georgia didn't do much that second quarter, but coming after halftime, I feel like they had that momentum, and they were able to, will that into a win. They got the win 37-10. But I think that Georgia really needs to watch some of their footage, figure out what they did wrong, especially on the offensive side of the ball. The defense – the defense held their own. When the offense could not score a point to save their lives, the defense bailed them out, man. Nakobe Dean, 7 tackles, also got half a sack. And then Nolan Smith had a great game, man. 6 tackles and a 1.5 sack. So he did really good. He really kind of anchored the UGA defense on that side of the ball. So I think that really helped them out when they couldn't get much points on the board. Let's talk about a few of their receivers as well because they weren't able to get too much going for them as well. Their leading receivers, Karis Jackson, 6 receptions for 62 yards, and then he was their leader in terms of getting yards for that game. George Pickens had 4 catches for 47 yards in that touchdown, and then John Fitzpatrick also got a touchdown as well. But I mean, other than that, I mean, Georgia didn't really impress me like I thought they would going into this game. I didn't think that they would be down at halftime. And I especially didn't think that Arkansas was going to play them that good because Arkansas did look really good that first half. I will give them that. So hopefully the Razorbacks, that gave them some confidence going into their next game. But for the Bulldogs, man, their keys against Auburn, going along with what you said, man, they got to get their running game figured out. Because Georgia, dare I say, it might be running back university. We'll see. Because they've had some really good ones over the years, like Todd Gurley, Nick Chubb, just to name 2 of who knows how many. But they got to get their running backs figured out. Zamir White's got to get it going. And I know, like I said, it's the first game. This might be a little bit, early on to be saying you guys got to get this figured out and all. But look, this is a number 4 ranked team. This isn't an unranked team coming into this year. These guys are expected to be competing for a national championship, and I fully believe that if they get all their pieces meshed together and working, that they can get there. But they got to get Zamir White working. They got to figure out their quarterback situation first and foremost, because I don't believe Dwan Mathis is going to be under center this next couple games. I think Bennett's going to be there from here on out until JT Daniels gets on the field, but we don't know how long that's going to be. We don't know if it's going to be a week or two, or we don't know if it might be 5 or 6 weeks. So I feel like if Bennett does get the start going forward, that I think that the offense looked 10 times better with him on the field. They look more in sync as opposed to with Mathis. But yeah, so I think with Bennett under center, they'll get all this figured out, at least for the time being. And then once they get Daniels under center the next couple of weeks, they'll really start clicking. But yeah, so those are my keys to the game. Just get the running game going. Get your quarterback situation figured out. Maybe get some different plays in there for these guys. Throw some simple passes. You don't need the 60-yard bombs with Stetson Bennett. You just need to get some quick short passes and let him get his feet wet, and then let your talented receiving core, your amazing O-line, and your stacked defense do the rest. So that's all I got to say about the how they got to get this win against Auburn. So do you have any final predictions for this game?
Well, of course, today I took the Auburn Tigers, War Eagle.
Yep.
It's just like the great lyric Steve Miller said, Bo Nix got to fly like an eagle on Saturday. We know he's going to play well because he's the most experienced quarterback, and that's why Auburn has a very strong advantage. He's under center on Saturday. But to me, as I said earlier when I was breaking down the Auburn Tigers, I think you got to have more than 91 yards on the ground. I think 150, you win the football game. You got to be more balanced running the football. And defensively, Auburn, you got to win the line of scrimmage because Georgia right now is going into a quarterback transition, and we know probably Georgia is going to give a little more running the football and it's going to be trying to pound the ball. Then Auburn is going to have to be real well strong on the line of scrimmage. That comes from Cody Wooden, Big Cat Bryant, Tyrone Trisdale, and, of course, I think the best linebacker right now in the SEC, KG Brett, who had 11 tackles against Kentucky. Remember, they shut down a Kentucky team that was, I think, number 1 and number 2 in the SEC last year and running the football, held them to 145 yards last week, 3.6 yards a carry. They have to have that same performance against Georgia. So that being said, War Eagle.
Yeah. Amen. Yeah. Wait, we'll see how this game goes. It's going to be a close battle. I hope that, Georgia comes out. They've got all their issues fixed from this past week, and they're able to come out and be the Georgia team that everyone knows that they are. That stacked offense, that amazing defense. They really gotta get their offense figured out. And if they can do that, I think that they'll get this win against Auburn. I'll give it 28-14. Yeah, I'll go 28-14. I got the Bulldogs in this one. Do you have a final score?
I'm gonna say a very close game. Auburn 21, Georgia 17.
Yeah, so very, very close. Differing opinions on this one. Like, we'll see which one's right coming into the show next week. But yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a great game between these two SEC rivals, man. And we'll see how this goes. I'm ready for this game. This is definitely going to be a barn burner of a game. Be sure to get down on Saturday, get you some good food, get you a nice drink or two, and watch this awesome game between the Auburn Tigers and the Georgia Bulldogs. Without any further ado, guys, be sure if you like this video to like, comment, and share. We're live on Facebook right now. We're also going live on YouTube as well as Twitch. And another shout out, man, we got to shout out Believe Podcast Network, where we are going to be putting out some of our content over there as well. You can find us over on Spotify. We're going to be on Apple pretty soon. And anywhere you'd like to, ingest your podcast at, we're going to be there. We're going to be, it's just going to be some audio. So you can't see our gorgeous faces, but you can hear us anywhere you'd like to go, man. So shout out to Believe again for hooking us up and getting that figured out. But if you guys want to check out any other stuff, we got some great stuff later coming this week with Bobby Butler, Kevin Jones, the rest of our amazing team. Be sure to check any of that out. And without further ado, guys, we will talk to you later in the week. See you guys.